Hello, everybody. I'm not. I'm not sure why this thing has such a huge pause for this. Oh, there you go. How is everybody doing? Captain Tanya Asamiya, Dad, Jackie, Vol, Cello. Nice to see you all. You joined the Discord, nice. Oh man, my hands are cold. Hand warming up ASMR, I guess. Tiny bit anxious. Me? Never. Oh yeah, over here. This is the one I was talking about when we watched the video last stream. This showed up. You can't really see it here, but it's a flamenco troupe with a woman dancing. It's my aunt got it for me. And there was no space here, so I was like, I guess it just could fit on the table, right? Yeah, I'm a tiny bit anxious because I have the appointment with the hand surgeon tomorrow, which I have a feeling is gonna be not. I don't know what to expect. I don't expect very much, but they're not doing any surgery. I know I said the word surgeon, but we'll see what happens. It'd be nice to get some answers and to be able to, I don't know, feel like I'm talking to someone who, I don't know, puts in some energy into this instead of being like, yeah, just don't, just leave it alone and see how it goes. Like, that doesn't feel like an answer. And again, after more than 2 years of doing that, I feel like it's not a good answer anymore. Okay, let me tune. Because like I feel like there's a difference between, there's nothing we can do versus, yeah, just keep waiting. It's like, I don't know, it sort of feels like a non-answer, especially if you're not gonna, if it's not really based on much. No, I don't know what they can do, but God, it doesn't seem that complicated. I don't know. Like, that there wouldn't be anything that could be looked into? I don't know. It's... We'll see. Hey, what's up, Claire? You like the bookshelf? Thanks. I tried to put. There wasn't that much space, but I tried to put a variety of things that I felt like fit me in some way. Hey, what's up, Count? Thanks for the claps. Also, I never said happy birthday on your birthday. Also, I don't know if my thing showed up on your Kudo board either, because I got an email the next day that was like, "Oh, your message has been successfully posted," and I was like, days later? I don't know. So maybe, I don't know if that's. I mean, did you see? And so I was gonna wait, and I was gonna. You saw it on the thing. Okay. Did I return them? Not yet. I did the return thing for it, but I just haven't taken them because I was waiting for a moment when I have 30 days. I was waiting for a time when I'd be going in the general area of where the return stuff is. Yeah, these are way better on multiple levels. There's none of the banding. The app is great. They didn't need to be bright. I mean, they're just, yeah. And they're cheaper. So, all right, so we're gonna do happy birthday for Claire. I was gonna wait on your birthday stream, but I ended up falling asleep. So, I ended up falling asleep. Hello, Timon. Happy birthday. That's what I got. Clappy birthday. was slightly based. It was slightly influenced by Happy Birthday, just a tiny bit. But that was a totally original composition. Completely original. I made it all up on the spot. Oh. Guess he pissed. Hello, Chris. How's it going? And not much is going on. I feel sort of out of it. It doesn't feel like Sunday because I slept so much of the day yesterday. I think I had a lot of sleep to catch up on. I've been so tired the past couple weeks. Lounge jazzy birthday. If I had more technical facility on the keyboard, I'd make it much more exciting, but I'm afraid I can't. It's just another thing to sort of work on and practice, but like I'll just sort of expose some of the stuff about my playing. If you notice, there's never any like huge scale runs up and down or any like big arpeggios up and down like that either. It's all very much within certain, you could call them like certain positions. Okay. This is not Happy Birthday. It's French keyboard music played on the guitar. And it sounds kind of like Canon in D, but Music theory? Is there something specific? Is there something specific music theory related you're curious about? Because that'd be. I was thinking about doing a Joy of Music thing later, so I'm thinking whenever I plan on doing that, this will just be the question of the day to sort of have questions lined up for things to focus on. Because again, I can talk about general stuff, but it's better if people have specific questions about things that we can actually talk about. Thanks for the claps, Tonya. Oh man, I still gotta warm up. You know what's good for warming up? Some of the Andrew York pieces we do, and Lord of Chaos is here, so I haven't played it all today. For some reason, my hands are kind of cold. Good way of remembering the major key just by looking at the number of sharps or flats. Yes. Next question. No, I am hilarious. There's two things to say about that. One is, yes, there is a way. You laughed. Don't mind me. Okay, so if you look at the circle of fifths here, in terms of the numbers, it's kind of just pure memorization. So there's two steps to like learning something. It's good to memorize stuff. Okay, that's a very general statement and sort of what seems like an obvious statement, but why did I say it? Because I said it on purpose. You could do something like this. If you look up at the 1 o'clock position on the circle of fifths here, you see there's an F sharp. And so what that tells you is that the very next note above it is the key that is. So F sharp. F sharp goes right up to G. The next, at the 2 o'clock position, it's F sharp and C sharp. The C sharp is just a half step down. It goes right up to D. So that's one of the ways that if you look at these and you look the farthest, well for you guys, the farthest to the right, that last sharp is going to be a half step below whatever key you're in. Even so if it's E, you're going to see it's going to be 4 sharps, but the last one's going to be a D sharp. And that'll go right up to E. All the way up to even an A sharp going up to B, or an E sharp going up to F sharp. So that's not so much in terms of numbers. The numbers you can kind of just memorize. There's also this little trick. There's 2 of any note name on this circle, with one exception, and that's C. But forget about that for a second. The total number of sharps or flats are going to add up to 7 for any key. So G major has 1 sharp. There's one other G on there, and it's either G sharp or G flat. It's a G flat. If G major has 1 sharp, G flat has 6 flats. The 1 sharp and the 6 flats add up to 7 accidentals in total. D major has 2 sharps, so D flat major has 5 flats. 2 and 5 make 7. E major has 4 sharps, so E flat has 3 flats. A major has 3 sharps, so A flat has 4 flats. there's that pattern can be nice. And it works with minor keys too. And then also it also kind of does make sense for C major, because C major has 0 sharps or flats, so C sharp major has 7 sharps. C major has 0 sharps or flats, so C flat major has 7 flats. But you can do that. You can do that works. That's going to work with all of these. It's all the accidentals are always going to end up being 7, and there's only 2 of any note name for major keys and 2 for minor keys. So there's that. Getting back to the obvious statement I said before, that memorization is nice. It's nice at first, but what's better than memorization is actually using something. So memorization only goes so far. It's not very useful. It's almost not useful at all. You can go through school and you can major in music and have the circle of fifths memorized, but if you don't actually play in G flat, it doesn't do you all that much. It doesn't do you all that much good. You have to spend time actually playing in that key. And then you get something that's better than memorizing the key based on sharps and flats. You just start to know on a very practical level what the sharps and flats are and what to use. And you start to see patterns that become much more useful than memorization. Because memorization is, again, it's good, especially starting out. You need to start out somewhere so that you can use it, but you have to, that's just the first step. That is just like the first basic step to knowing something. But it takes, you forgot about this? Yeah, guys, Count made this graphic. Dude, I've been using it a lot more now. It fits really nicely. Yeah, so you have to put all of this into practice, and it has to be, you have to actually sort of challenge yourself. So this is not putting it into practice, and this is what a lot of guitarists do, including myself. This is what I did for a long time. I'm going to play in G flat. All right, I just played a G flat major scale. Yes, I did, but I didn't actually force my brain to think in G flat. This is just a shape. It's the same as G major. So this does not make your brain think in G flat. So it's easy to trick yourself into thinking that you're practicing, like the classical guitarists play like the Segovia scales, but there's just a lot of shapes to them that repeat. So the G major shape gets used for a lot of different keys. A major, F sharp, or G flat, B major, all this stuff. you're just practicing, unless you're really thinking about the note names, which is probably not going to happen because it's so much easier for your brain to think about the shapes themselves. You're not really actually, you're not thinking in G flat. The chances are, just to not, you know, maybe some people, but it's highly unlikely that a person is actually thinking in that key when they're doing these scales. It's just too easy. It's just too easy to just do the shape. It's just too easy. Fungalicious. Thank you for the raid. Welcome in, everybody. Zen, Zuzu, Aza, Inspector. It's me. It's you. 2048. Danielle, or Daniel, actually, Daniel J. Sample PhD, Kuya. Hey, Mirabelle, what's up? Nice to see you. Something, I just read it as frog, but it's frog. And Fungalicious. Welcome in, everybody. I was talking about, someone asked about memorizing keys. Or is there a trick to knowing what key you're in based on the key signature? I said yes. But there's more to it. If anyone's curious about that or has any music questions, let me know. I'll play something for you all coming in. But there's a but, and you got here right at the end of the but. All you got was the but. All you got was the but. You know, it doesn't even necessarily help to play in the key too. So I'm about to play an A major, an A minor, but even that's not good enough to knowing what keys and key signatures go together. But Fungalicious, thanks again for the raid. What were you up to on your stream? Also, Julia, spelled out phonetically. Welcome in. That was great, thanks. And thanks for the claps, everybody. Hey, what's up, Lemur? Saying all the sad bops. I'm down with all the sad music. It's the best type of music. Julia, or is it Julia? It makes you cry and laugh. Gosh. Yeah, everything tends to. Most of the stuff I play tends to just be like. And then there's we have some. You know what I can. What's up, Raspberry? We can do we're gonna do some old school sad boy music. We're gonna do sad boy music, Renaissance style. In honor of the raid. So this is some English Renaissance music written at the very tail end of the Renaissance by one of my favorite composers ever, John Dowland. And this dude was super emo. This song is called Flow My Tears. All the songs are they're just titled after the first line of text. If you listen to the words, it's just so over the top. It's so over the top. What I also really like about it is that the accompanying part is quite intricate. And combined with the vocal part, it's like, well, it makes up generally 4 lines of music that are sort of interwoven. So again, instead of being like, even though the main harmony that's going on is like just A minor, even though it's just like A minor, F, E, the accompanying part is actually one part in the middle, it gets really intense, and there's a bunch of imitation. So 2 pairs of these 4 voices go together. One actually being the voice. So the voice and the one second from the bottom, and then you could say the soprano and tenor, and then we'll do like this, and the alto and bass kind of go like this, copying each other, and then after that, all 4 move on their own and copy each other before each of them finish. Oh my god, we listened to Last Resort on stream 2 streams ago. That's some Papa Roach going on. We ended up listening to a bunch of 90s, early 2000s music. Alright, I haven't sang it all today, so... Flow, my tears fall from your springs, exiled forever. Let me mourn where night's blackbird her sad infamy sings. There let me live. Down, vain lights shine you no more. No nights are dark enough for those that in despair their lost fortunes deplore. Light doth but shame disclose. Never may my woes be relieved, since pity is fled, and tears and sighs and groans my weary days, my weary days of all joys have deprived. From the highest spire of contentment my fortune is thrown, and fear and grief and pain for my deserts, are my hopes, and hope is gone. Hark, you shadows that in darkness dwell, learn to contemn light. Happy, happy they that in hell feel not the world's despite. Hark, you shadows that in darkness dwell, learn to contemn light. Happy, happy Stellun. Welcome in. Yeah, this is in A minor. For sure. There's some sections that went to like C major for a bit, but it's A minor. Dude, Raspberry Jamming. Thank you for the $10 donation. I mostly work, but wanted to show you my support. Please play Dido's Lament. You got it. Thank you for the support. Oh man, this is perfect because this is another. Oh geez, this is another This is another upbeat one. This is from the end of Henry Purcell's opera Dido and Aeneas. This is when Dido kills herself, which doesn't really make sense. She really didn't need to do that, but I won't get into that. But, you know, just... Also, we've got raspberry, and now blackberry is here. Now we just need blueberry and strawberry. I don't know if I know. Thanks for the follow. Again, I keep seeing frog in that name, but frog doesn't have 2 R's. But also, there's no vowels there, so I don't know. Neither did Romeo and Juliet. Yeah, what's going on with these? You know what? All right, I won't question. I'll just... This uses what's called, well, the name is actually perfect. So it's Dido's Lament, and this uses a very specific bass line that was called a lament bass. Oh, perfect. So it's when this is like in the middle of the Baroque era, so this is right after the Renaissance, what we just heard. It's when everything goes down by a half step, like this. In its simplest form, it just ends on the 5th scale degree. So 1, 7, flat 7, 6, flat 6, 5. And it can be something like... Now you could keep it going if you want extra lament. You want all the lament. You can have. We got a custom circle of fifths here. That's right. That's right. All right. That's how nerdy we get here, right? We got a custom circle of fifths. So the whole thing can go. Well. Forget about the flat 2 scale degree. Maybe. No one's paying attention. Pay attention. Pay attention. This is going to be on the quiz. So it could be something like. And so that's all the lament. Let's see. So the bass is called a lament bass, and this was used on purpose. Descending chromatic lines, just composers would know. It was just a thing. You would just know that this signified death or something very heavy in some sense. So, yeah. And this is going to have the exact same repeating bass line over and over through the whole song. When I am laid, I'm laid in earth. May my wrongs create and then it instantly goes into this 4-part choral thing, which is super cool, but literally impossible to sing because I'm only one person. So Raspberry, thank you again for the donation. Sounds like a cathedral. This reverb is using the mapping of a space of a cathedral from Russia as this space. Why Russia? Because it's the one that sounds good. It's because the one that sounds good. Do I know about the war? Whoa. What are you talking about? No, I don't. That's not how I make decisions in life. Use whatever reverb I want. I don't give a shit. Also, am I secretly taking singing lessons? I'm not. In fact, I've just been singing less than I normally have. Do I play for D&D nights? I could. I could do, I really like improvising, and sometimes that can go on for a really long time, like over an hour. I feel like I could go forever if I really wanted to, but especially if you do something like this, a lot of times when I do these improvs, depending on the mood I'm going for, a lot of times people say it sounds like film music. Look who it is! Welcome in, everybody. Trivia, thank you for the raid. Merci beaucoup. Et bienvenue tout le monde. Hello. This is where I go. This is where I go. I'm gonna play some French music, and then that's your cue to go, oh, I know we're French, but we like music other than French music. And then I go, oh, I know, but I'm gonna do it anyway. And you go, okay. Welcome in again, everybody. I hope the stream went well. What were you up to today? Hello, TV. And thank you for all the follows for the new people, and to the many of you that have been around before. I see you all. I see you. I see you. No, this guitar is very much full-sized. Very much full-size. Also, question about reharmonization. There's a lot of stuff to talk about when it comes to that. So, for those who are new here, my name's Rafi. I go by Schnaff, although that will be changing sometime soon. But if you still want to call me that, that's fine. And so I play music on Twitch. My main thing is classical guitar. But I also like singing, and I also like playing piano and improvising. But I also like to do what you could maybe describe as educational stuff. So you can get your, put on your nerd glasses. Rebrand, that's right. And so if you have, I can't promise that I'll be able to answer every question. I don't know everything. But if you have any questions about music in general, so someone asked, for example, earlier today, is there an easy way to know what key you're in based on the number of sharps or flats? Someone just asked, well, they kind of just said the word reharmonization, but I feel like that's kind of like, they're generally getting at like, how do you reharmonize something, or what's a way to look at reharmonizing something? And then Airwheeled said, why did music, this is a little different, but it's funny. Why does music, sheets, and tabs, why they're so different from the melody and still categorized as good or valid? It's because people just, I don't know. There's no actual, it's sort of just being crowdsourced, and there's no, how would you put it? There are no standards or anything. There's no group of people. You can just have random people be like, yeah, this is great, and vote for it. So like, there's nothing holding anyone accountable. There's no verification of anything. It's just total chaos. So that's another reason why you don't want to just rely on purely what's written for you. Because what if it's wrong, which is often the case, and you know it like by your ears a lot of the time. Sometimes, maybe, and then you're just sort of, you got to just follow what's on the page. You have no ability to move away from that. So let's do something here for a second. Reharmonization. It is relatively straightforward in a certain sense, just like everything. Everything that makes sense is straightforward. It's just applying it can be difficult. So here's what happens. In music, 99% of the music you listen to, or perhaps 100% of it for some of you, is going to involve chords. Chords based on thirds. Like that. Meaning if you pick a chord, C major, it means you play this, and then you just play every other note. And that's how you get your chord. It's that simple. A D minor chord, you do this, and you play every other note. You just play every other note. Okay, so we'll keep it simple. We'll keep it to 3 notes. Well, if you have a melody, the simplest one that we can always use, because everyone seems to know it, is Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. You listened to a djembe yesterday and there are no chords? Okay, touche. Okay, fair enough. Although you were hearing multiple notes at once, but that's what gives it its sound. But okay, so if you're playing Twinkle Twinkle in C major, will you see this green and brown note, C and G? All you need to do is go like, what chord is this part of? A very simple one is C major, right? That has green in it. And so these could be the first chords. Well, it's just one chord that goes along with these first notes. Right? See how there's only 3 colors at once? Well, if we go up here and go like, what are the other chords that just have this green in it? Okay, that does. That doesn't have any green, so we'll skip that. That doesn't have any green, so we'll skip that. Oh, that has a green note in it, so you could kind of play this. It sounds a little weird because that's not how the song normally goes, but okay, so we did that. This doesn't have any green. This does. So it could be like, so there's 3 chords. That's one of the things. There's 3 chords in every key that are going to have any one particular note. So then what 3 chords go with it? This one, not this one, not this one, and then this one. So it could be something like that, or so all I'm doing is looking and going, what chords just have one of these notes? And you could change it. You can change it as fast as you want. You can change the chord every time you play a note here. Or you could just hold it out and go like. Or you can move even faster. You can go. And then what you can do, if you want, depending on sort of what style you're playing in, you don't have to keep it to just three notes, because we can just follow the same principle of playing every other note and just extend it. Look at this. There's 5 notes here. There's 5 notes here. So, or I'm skipping this one. There are some tricky special sort of cases here, but it could be most of these chords can have every note in the key played at once. Airwheeled, thank you for gifting a sub to TB. Does that mean any chord could have any note through contortions and extensions and things like diminishing suspension? Exactly. Which is why, actually it's not why he says this, but I was going to say every chord is every other chord, but that's for a different reason. Thanks, Jacob. Yeah, so what you could do is, so the first note here was, now this G fits along with this A minor chord, because I'm going, oh, it's A minor 7. So instead of, we're just going one more note, just skipping over one more note. And so you may go, well, you can't just play, okay, so if you're saying C major uses these notes, that's kind of what it means to be in C major, you should just be able to kind of play anything, right? Not really, because music is more than just like theoretically what chords are. Again, there's a difference between this, which is C, E, and G, and then in the same exact order. That sounds very different. So where you place the notes matters. And then even though you're adding notes onto this stuff, like extra notes, so instead of this, if you have this chord instead, or they still have functions. So you still want to, you still kind of want to think about that. Good day, Al. How are you doing? So I just did this. I went. maybe I'll simplify and go. And what's happening here is using a lot of fifths and or fourths. So there's like two really big things you want to think about in terms of music. To simplify it, we'll think about thirds, and that's for like the harmony, and fifths or fourths, and that's thinking about chords. So my theory teacher in college had us memorize what she called the phone number. That's 1 4 7 3 6 2 5 1. That's a way to keep it in the one range. And so that sounds like this. Dude, we're getting a bunch of raids today. Emma, thank you for the raid. What is up? How's the stream? Welcome in, everybody. We're talking about some nerdy music stuff. Because someone asked about reharmonization. Has anybody here, coming from the raid, ever been like, I'm sick of these chords. I want to do something different. But I don't know what to do. Look no further. All right, have I sold it? And I promise it's simple to a certain degree. But all these things, everything in music, I feel like is simple, but it doesn't mean it's easy to do. It doesn't mean it's easy to do. Again, like harmony is very simple in the sense that you just play chords. You just play every other note. That's just like, it's kind of that simple. But it's not really that simple when it comes to applying it, because you have to keep a lot of information stored in your memory at one point. You have to know like what key you're in, and if that's not stored in a place where it's easily accessible, then you're gonna struggle to know, well, what if we're in a different key? What if we're not in C major? How do we know which notes to choose from? If you're in E flat, for example. Now I know there's an A natural there, but that's... Or if you wanted to do something like... Bonsoir, Angen. What's up? So you have to know what your choice of notes are right away. Like when I look at E flat, it's just automatically... So if that's a struggle there, then skipping over and playing every other note. This one's awkward. That's not going to be so easy, but it is that straightforward. So what we were talking about before was reharmonizing with everyone's favorite song to reharmonize, which is Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. And the basic idea is that anytime you have a note, this isn't even just reharmonizing, this is just writing music too. If you just have a note, you can kind of just play any chord that has this note in it. So C, you can play a C major chord when you hear this. You could play an F major chord. You could play an A minor chord. And then what we were getting to right when you all came in with the raid is that, well, what if we just extend these chords out further? So instead of using 3 notes, these triads, what if we make them 7th chords or 9th chords or 11 or even 13? Although here again, it tends to be this note, but that's we won't worry about that right now. So instead of So that was just 3 chords, a 1 chord, a 4 chord, and a 5 chord. C, F, and G. 7. But it could be... And what you're going to notice is that these have different feelings to them when you use different chords. In there I did something a little different where the bass was moving and it wasn't just these block chords. But if you notice here, well, that's what we were talking about. We were talking about going in terms of fourths and fifths. So harmony, you think of thirds, that's good to know. And in terms of moving between chords, a big thing to think about is moving up a fourth or down a fifth. So you know where we get this a lot? If you hear this. A minor, up 4 notes is D. Up 4 from that is G. Up 4 from that is C. Up 4 from that is F. Up 4 from that is B. Up 4 from that is E. Up 4 from that is A. So we just went through that phone number. So that was just going through the circle of fifths. So if we use these as like the bass chords, we can move actually like pretty fast. We can move the chords pretty fast. And it'll also allow us to, getting back to what Count said, it's like you can kind of, it gives you this freedom to actually do a lot and put a lot of different notes over these chords. So if we, let me see if I can do this sort of on the flip side. So that was me just almost mindlessly putting the notes for Twinkle Twinkle underneath that chord progression. Do I normally teach music theory? I do, not as much as I'd like to, just because I'm always, it doesn't always get the best response, but I'd like to do it more, especially if people enjoy it, because I enjoy talking about it, and I think it's important, and I think it has, I know it has a lot of function if it's approached in the right way. It's often thought of as like, again, if I bring up this, anyone who's seen it typically recoils when they see the circle of fifths, but really it should just be a good friend of yours that will have all sorts of patterns, because, well, what happened here? Well, look at these chords. If we just go, if we go counterclockwise, and forget about the sharps or flats. In this case, it's all flats. But if we go counterclockwise from C, we'll look at the chords it gives us. C, the next thing you see is F. Well, there you go. The next thing you see is B flat, but well, again, I said forget about the sharps or flats. B, the next thing you're gonna see is E, and then you're gonna see an A of some sort, and then you're gonna see a D of some sort, and then you're gonna see a G of some sort, and then you're gonna see a C of some sort. So that thing is taking you through the fourths here. Al, thank you for the $10. Thank you for supporting your favorite streamer. Me? Aw, shucks. When you say the next step to learn would be for someone who wants to compose music but only knows how to stay in key but not necessarily how to build a progression, you can do two things. One, well, you can do lots of things, but you could do this. Okay, if you click on that file, there's going to be a chord like map. In fact, I'm going to click on it. And this is to get you started with something. Here's a piece of advice for basically anything, really. But when it comes to doing creative stuff, people are very hesitant to do what I'm about to say. And I understand why, but just resist. Okay, don't try to be too creative or too clever starting out. This thing, chord motion in the major key. Just do something not creative. Just do it. Just do it. Don't try to be a genius. I promise you, don't try to be a genius. Just look at it and just try to do something. Just try to do something. So you can mindlessly, we've done this in chat. Forget about the number 7, but put random numbers from 1 to 6. Anyone, just type, you can type, but just put any number, or we can, I'm just trying to find some, or we could do the old random roll thing. Okay, 3, 2, 2. Let's see if we can. We could just use, so if you just play those numbers in terms of chords, it gives you this. 3, 2, 5, 4, 1. And what you could try to do is just whenever you have one of those chords, just start with 3 notes. Start in C major. Just keep it simple. Just keep it simple. Just work with the white keys for now. Just keep it simple. You play every other note. And you see here it comes up blue, brown, and yellow. I just gave it those colors, but E, G, and B, just play a note above it that's any one of those 3 notes. You don't even need to use your brain right now. Just 2. Oh, where I'm getting these numbers is starting here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you go 3, play every other note. Just play any of those notes above it. 2, play every other note. We had 2 2s in a row, so 5, 4, 1. So the chords are gonna. And so without even doing anything special with where you arrange the notes or doing anything with the rhythm, you can just, whenever you play one of these chords, just play one of the 3 notes that's part of it. And so this is like the opposite version of reharmonizing something. Reharmonizing is you have the notes already and you pick which one of these chords. If someone hadn't said 1 last, would you make it end on 1? No, we could have made it end on 4. We could actually do it. It's nice to start with just 4 chords. Like that's pretty symmetrical and even. It'll kind of make sense. It'll help making things like make sense in our brains because form is actually very important. But so that sounds like this. We can take the 1 out of it. We can just go. Now we did something here called a retrogression. Going from the 5 chord to the 4 chord like that is a little awkward sometimes. Although it happens in a lot of pop songs, like. We can still do it just for the purposes of this example. You know, you can just go 3, 2, 5, 4, 3, 2, 5, 4, 3, 2, 5. And so right now that's not sounding very much like a song, because I'm not really sort of feeling it at all. I'm just kind of blindly playing this stuff. But it doesn't sound like bad, right? It's not like ugh. It doesn't like hurt in some way. It's not just like even that I guess is fine, but it's not like it's not that. So if you're using your brother's initials and you do that, you can do that G and C. It depends on what key you're in and like where you're starting. And if it's in a minor key, like and so it could be, well, this is gonna. Yeah, it sounds like some Death March thing. Going through the circle of fifths. If you're going through rad, dude, those are my initials. That's my initials. If you're going through the circle of fifths, does a key change each time you move? No, so I'm not actually, when I said I'm going through the circle of fifths, I'm not actually changing keys. What I sort of mean by that is I'm just kind of following the fact that I'm moving by fourths or fifths. What's up, Brian? How's it going? So I'm not actually playing in different keys. When I do this, I'm just using it. If you see, I'm starting from C minor, which is the 9 o'clock position, and the little note names, that means minor. I'm going by fourths, so that means we're moving counterclockwise. So from C to F minor to B flat. Rip Lil Bro. Oh man, that makes more sense now. I'm sorry to hear about it. That definitely actually makes. Then there's other things to think about it. I'd have it maybe be like this then. Dude, the rogue velocity thing happens every once in a while, but when it does, oh man, it's so jarring. Hey, thanks, Meta. How's it going? Also, Ravioli. Hello. So knowing what key you're in is ambiguous, and this also, someone mentioned something about modes. It's what makes the difference between being in C major. Well, it's like C major has these notes. D Dorian has these notes. All right, okay, so it's like, what? So how do you know? It's why there's more to this. There's always like a little more to this than meets the eye. You're very welcome, Cora. Thank you for being here and listening. Because the time you notice it is when you're trying to play soft and gentle. Yeah, exactly. Oh. So to make this a little simpler, if you want to play an A minor, one of the things you're going to hear is this, a G sharp. Now if I do this, I didn't actually change the keys, but if you notice I used this note. And that was to move to this new place for a second, to make us move in a more, somewhat more dramatic way to a D minor chord instead of going. I went. And you can make it sound like you're in C major for a bit. Dude, the raids today. What the heck? Emmy, thank you for the raid. What is up? We're doing we're in music school right now. School is in session. So everyone take a seat. You're late. That's one tardy. If you get two more, you're going to get detention. But who here has ever wanted to write music? Oh, every single one of you? Oh, no way. What are the chances? Decibel, thank you for that 15-month resub. Emmy, how was the stream? What we're talking about at the moment is, well, a bunch of stuff. Guys, what are we talking about right now? What are we talking about right now specifically? Oh, how you know if you're in a particular key? What's the difference if A minor and C major use the same notes? How do you know which one's which? Now I'm talking like a streamer. How do you know which one's which? If you're in a different key, how do you know if they use the same thing? It was grand. Thank you. Here to chill. I was talking about. I'm glad to hear. I'm glad to hear it was grand. It was just grand. It was grand. No, we're not going to worry about polychromaticism or anything. It's just read every line of Chow with an upward inflection. Yeah, everything is, even statements are read as questions when you're streaming. Okay, but here's what we do. So we're in A minor. Well, this G sharp, the use of a G sharp when we're playing an E chord, so it's not E minor, but instead E major, is one thing that's going to tell us that maybe we're in A minor. It depends on where you start too. Maybe the piece starts in A minor. Maybe the chords, maybe the melody and the chords outline that. So like, even if I didn't play any chords, if I went, it started on A. It went up to here at its highest point. But a lot of the strong places were on these three notes. But just the chords, like if I'm going, like we're in A minor, and we could temporarily go somewhere else. And it's somewhat subjective sometimes when you're trying to determine what key you're in. Because it's like, what if you're moving between the two a lot? You know, if we go like, we spent an equal amount of time in A minor that we did C major. Well, now it's like we're in D minor. What the heck? back to C. So I don't know if I'd always be so concerned in terms of like knowing for sure exactly what key you're in, as weird as that sounds. You want to have some idea, but if you do want to know like the set of notes you're using, if that makes sense, as opposed to being so concerned as to whether you're technically in one key or another. It's usually kind of clear, and if it's not, it's typically not a big deal whether it's clear or not. Because then there's things, well, I was going to say there's things like if you're playing not caring all about keys, just play what sounds good. But here's the thing, you can this can help aid you into I'd all right, so the words good and bad are an important thing to think about. Good and bad only works if you have a goal in mind. So for those who've watched the stream a bunch before, you probably know what I'm gonna do, but like this is typically, if you were to just ask like out of context, is this good or bad? You'd say it's, most people would say it sounds bad. Another thing that probably sounds bad is this. But if you put it in a certain context, or so now it doesn't sound so jarring. But even then, maybe you do want it to be jarring, in which case it's good to use. Maybe you want to go like, if you want to stir up anxiety and tension and drama or something like that, then yeah, it'd be good to do something to use. Okay. Or maybe you don't want that. Maybe again, this should be bad, but it's not. It's objectively lovely, and I don't care what you say. And then there's things like Zen, what Zen was bringing up with their brother. If you're gonna write something for your brother who's passed away, and you want it to be sad and somber or something, you know what's not good? Probably this. It's like, what the hell? What? And just like, that's where something like this would be more appropriate. If you're trying to have let's say someone's getting married and you're playing something at their, while people are gathering in for their wedding, you probably don't want to do this unless you're trying to give some sort of hint, unless you know the bride and groom very well and you're trying to give some sort of hint. It's like, what are you doing? You'd want to do something that was joyous and maybe triumphant in some way. It doesn't mean you can't play any minor chords. Also, what Blackberry is saying is another good thing, which is like, it's a way of, the theoretical stuff is a way of framing things in your own mind and also communicating things to other musicians. I've played with a bunch of people that don't know how to communicate this stuff. And it's really frustrating. It's really frustrating. And it's not my fault. It's not my fault. There's an established way of speaking about these things, and there's variations between like the genres and stuff. But overall, if you don't have any way of talking about this, and it's like play the thing, but it kind of sounds like and you're using I don't know which note or chord. It's like, yeah, no. Keep talking in these really ridiculous, vague ways that no one understands because you've taken no time to learn how to describe it. It can be very frustrating. It can be very frustrating. It's like, I get it. All right, I get it. But also, please help me out. You know who I got annoyed at? T-Pain. That's right, T-Pain. Raspberry, take care. Thanks for being here. You are very welcome. Thank you for asking for Dido's Lament. I love that song. And thank you for the donation that went along with it. T-Pain was doing something with another streamer, and I'm watching him try to work with this person. It was very handsome Billy. And T-Pain's trying to tell him like what to do musically, and it's like, go do like a little and it's like, oh my god, dude. Use your big boy words. Use your words. Use your words. Use your big boy words. Tell Billy what you want. Use your words. Tell him what you want. Like, I'm sure he got annoyed at you too. He didn't even know I was there, but he would have no right getting annoyed. He's the dude. Learn how to speak. Learn how to speak. Some way to because Billy's sitting there like on the spot doing something with T-Pain live, and it's just like he's like, "What are you talking about? What are you?" I was frustrated for him. So, dude. Okay. But yeah, that was all to say, like, if you have some basic knowledge or some way of being able to speak about this stuff, the other guy should be able to play it. Yeah, maybe, kind of. You better be very good with your singing and be very sure about it, but still, you should also... Dude, you should also be able to speak. Again, you should be able to articulate your thoughts as clearly as possible. And yeah, maybe you don't have to, but it's probably a good idea to do that. It's certainly not better to not be able to do that. Like, please use your words. Same with guitars. I mean, a lot of people, most people are, in a certain sense, for almost no fault of their own. No one has, in my experience, most people I talk to have not even been shown that there's a way to be musically literate. And this is another place where I get really frustrated, because it's younger people who are not even being given the opportunity by adults, and the adults are the ones making the excuses for why younger people don't need to learn. The typical thing is, if they're not going to be a professional musician, why do they need to learn or something? Which is a horrible way of approaching it, because you're not even giving them the tools to do it. You're just already sort of deciding for them in some, maybe, that like they don't need to learn this stuff. I promise you that's a bad idea. I promise you that's a bad idea. No, yeah, you have to take into consideration, priorities in certain ways, and in terms of classes and workload that a student has. But I get very upset at the attempt to rationalize why one does not need to learn about music. It's like, just say it's like not as important as math or something. I'd be much happier with that. Instead of trying to, I don't know, come up with some excuse as to why it doesn't have worth. So then you get the majority of the people walking around in the world who don't know what a scale or a chord is. Just like ask a random person. Ask them to spell a chord. Any chord. Any chord. It can be a C major chord. It's just any chord or any scale, and see what happens. I used to teach full-time in a school, and this is a perfect example of me being like really annoyed. Really annoyed. They were talking about, some of the science teachers were talking about how it's ridiculous that most people don't know how the exact like workings of how a light switch to a light bulb work. And it was like, okay, yeah, it'd probably be good to know because, we use lights all the time. But it was like, before you're super smug about it, I asked them all, it's like, you listen to music every day. We're listening to music right now because we're out eating somewhere. Do any of you know what a scale is? I was like, no. So chill out. Chill out before you scoff at the idea of not understanding how electronics work. It's like, please. Most people are not inquisitive enough. You never really learn. Yeah, but I feel like they should at least be introduced to it in some way, which is part of what I'm trying to do here. Is like at least show people that it's possible and that what's happening is not magic. It's not magic. There's magic, but it's not in knowing how to spell chords or know what key you're in. Errol Garner couldn't read. Yeah, okay, so there's another thing too, which is, again, I urge you to not use examples of people getting away with certain technique or certain approaches that like worked for them, but it doesn't mean they're like better off. So how do you put it? So if someone's playing guitar like this, like a lot of people play guitar and like get away with like doing this. I am not going to teach, just because someone can do that, I'm not going to teach someone to do it because someone is able to sort of get away with it, holding the guitar like this. Because that person's certainly not better because of it. They just have, for their purposes, it's worked. But like, I dare you to play this chord with this. You can't. So I'm not exactly sure where the urge to rationalize away learning things, getting information and practicing things properly comes from. If that makes sense. So it's like, here, you could learn this thing, but it's like, well, I could not learn it. It's like, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? There's no benefit to knowing less. Like, yes, there's opportunity cost in life, but there's no benefit. There's no reason to fight against knowledge. And over the years, I've gotten a lot of pushback against the idea of knowledge. And it's kind of annoying, for one. But I'm not the one who's suffering for it. It's other people. And I'm trying to like help them out, and people are helping them not succeed. It's very annoying. It's very frustrating. It is daunting, and I know because we've done stuff together, but it's possible. It's possible to do, and it takes work, and unfortunately, it's not a very linear thing. And that's where some of the trust comes in, that like you have to trust that it'll eventually start to make sense. And Brian, I know I saw it for you. You made like big improvements from when we had first started doing lessons, to just, not putting any of this, being able to put any of this stuff together to actually, being able to do it. Is that why I shifted to full-time streaming instead of teaching? Partly. It was there were multiple factors. But that was one of them, was getting pushback. I was getting pushback from other music teachers at the school. And it was like, I promised myself, so I felt like I was robbed of this opportunity when I was younger. Here, I'll give the little story. I was in band. I played the clarinet. I got bumped up in music classes because I was so great. I could play everything by ear, and I never had to practice. I didn't understand why kids took their instrument homes. I just played guitar and piano by ear. I must have been a super music genius. Oh my God, everything I need. So I go to study. No one ever told me about, like, I don't know, anything about keys or chords or whatever, because I could do what they asked for me. How was I supposed to know? They put music in front of me. I saw the dots. I knew to do this. And so that's what I did. Then I went to school thinking I was a genius. I mean, not really, but thinking I knew a whole bunch. And then when someone went like, here's some stuff you should know, this is like intro to theory, for example, I didn't know any of it. And I was totally overwhelmed, and I was frustrated, and I was discouraged, and I basically didn't have like any control over it. I didn't reject the education. It was just never even shown to me. I didn't even know it existed. I didn't even know to look for it. No one had told me. And as far as every adult had, as far as I knew, my whole life had been me succeeding with whatever the adults put in front of me. And then all of a sudden, it's like, I seem to know nothing. I was like, what is going on? It was very frustrating. So then I said to myself, I'm never doing this again. Well, again, I'm not going to do what the adults and teachers sort of like did to me. I'm not going to go, and if I'm in a teaching situation, I'm not going to have them just play dots on the page. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I mean, obviously they're going to have to do that. That's part of music a little bit. But I'm going to make sure no matter what, that even if they don't master it or become music, even if they're not music geniuses or something, they're going to know something. They're going to at least be aware of the fact that there is a set of tools to be able to learn music, to be able to understand music, to be able to write music, to be able to communicate it with other people. And if they really fight against it or something, I will have tried to do all I could. But I'm not just going to take it away from them before they even know and go, they're not going to like this. They don't need to know this information. Like, who am I? I'm the music teachers. You don't need to know this stuff. I know all these things. I've been given all this information, and it's helped me. I'm not going to give it to you, though. I'm going to make the judgment call and say that the information that's helped me out, you're not going to know that exists. It's like, that's weird. It's weird. It's weird to me. It's weird. It's not even selfish. It's like, it's weird. That's like your job. And not like your job in terms of, yes, your job in terms of like being a teacher, like your job. But I mean like larger scale, like that's your duty to like impart the knowledge that people have given to you. You share that knowledge. Were there teacher fights? Kind of. And I was like really young and new. And so it was very easy for them to literally just go, oh my God, like that's so naive of you. Like, oh, don't worry, Rafa, you'll see after a while. And years went on and nothing changed. In fact, it only became clearer that this was the case. And I was like, this sucks. You guys are idiots. So I'm trying. And so this seems to be an opportunity to be able to reach people. Does teaching that stuff take away from what the success metrics the teachers are being judged on? Yeah. So that's a huge part. Again, I'm not stupid. I understand. I mean, even if I was, it was directly, stated to me. They want to see the students playing as much music as possible, as often as possible, and as much music as possible, at the expense of learning about music. So if you weren't rehearsing music, it was time wasted. Because they would look and go, oh, you're spending time showing them about how to read notes and how to spell scales and chords, but they're not getting that class that day didn't help them get any better at playing. So you're wasting time. And it was like, I hate you. I hate your thinking. I am so opposed to it's so superficial, for one. It's incredibly superficial. Because it's like, it's not like you just shouldn't play any music. That'd be ridiculous. But like, you don't think educating a student or having, and at least attempting to have somewhat of a well-rounded background or somewhat of a foundation in music is important? It's just about playing notes? It's not. I promise you, it's not just about playing notes. That is a Chrono Trigger cartridge. It is. And I'll never not. I'm. You could call it stubborn, but this is based on my own experience and actually looking at the experiences of others. I will never not. I don't know, like not believe this. Music theory versus instrument proficiency. Yeah, because it was about showing. It was about going like, look at what we've done. Look at all the parents want to see. It's the typical thing. A parent goes like, lessons. Okay, so like, when is my kid gonna play a song? I want them to play these songs. People come in. I want to play these songs. It's like, okay, fine. And maybe if you're an adult, actually, if you're an adult, you can do whatever the hell you want to do. If you're like, dude, I don't want to learn anything about music. I want you to show me how to play these songs. You're an adult. I'm not gonna be like, I'm fine with that. I'm totally fine with you directing this stuff. If that's what you really want to do, it's your money, it's your time. Like you can do that. I really mean that. But if you are younger and you don't know what's going on, and the parents don't know what's going on, then you could say like, well, it's the parents' money or something. It's like, yeah, but they don't know. They don't know what's supposed to be taught because they weren't shown that either. So they don't have an idea of what's going on. I'm trying to think of like a good analogy. I hate even having to use analogies or something. I think they're usually stupid. But like, if you don't know anything, God, this is such a terrible analogy, but I'm just gonna do it anyway. Just, it's an analogy. It's an analogy. It sucks, but whatever. But it's like, if you didn't know anything about sports and you're like, I want my kid to do basketball, and I want you to teach him how to shoot from as far away as possible and also how to dunk. It's like, you want me to do what? Yeah, that's gonna help. That's the coolest thing. So when are they gonna dunk? It's like, when are they gonna dunk? They're not. How about they learn how to dribble first? Okay, so when are they gonna like shoot 3-pointers? Like, I don't know. At some point, they don't know how to dribble yet. They don't know the difference between a center and a point guard and a forward. They don't know anything. Yeah, and everyone just goes like, and they do that and they're like, ta-da, like, great, okay. But the thing that's like, thanks Ninja, that's a good one, is that people look to the like examples of what the people want to be like or what the parents want the students to be like. They don't want them to take the same journey to get there. It's like, okay, it's like, you think Mozart's like a genius, right? Mozart and Beethoven and Bach and these people? Yeah, okay. Well, this is what they're doing. So you want them to be like these, maybe not exactly like them, but you know what I mean. You want to be like I'm trying to tell you that's what these people did. You don't want to do that. You just see the end product. You see someone who goes like, or writes some genius piece of music, and you go like, when am I gonna play crazy scales and play fast, loud music? When am I gonna write genius pieces of grand works that are will go down in the history of humans as being the greatest pieces of art ever? It's like, not like this. You're not gonna do it. And if you were that rare exception, you would have done it already, but you didn't, and you're struggling, and this is the way to have you not struggle. What's up, Kenny? It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating. Like, I don't know most things in life. None of us do. I am unaware of most things and always will be because there's just way too much in life to know about. Okay, this is like one of the very few places where I know what I'm talking about. Okay, just give this one little space in life. Just listen to me here and only here. If you're gonna, you don't have to listen to me with anything else. Like, just this one space. Just, this is the thing that I do know about. So just get, and I won't tell you how to do your thing, but just this one space. Just this one space in life. You're gonna have to trust me. All right, Blackberry, take care. Thank you, as always, for being here. Fixation on the final result. Fixation on the final result and desire for shortcuts. Sounds like art. Sounds like probably everything. Yeah. It's like, this is why, you're welcome, Julia. It's why the things that are so successful are like the secret to learning such and such. Everyone's like, I don't want to do the work. I want to get to the end result and just not do any of the work. What if instead of studying a language, I just sleep with a video of words playing? Yeah. Then maybe I'll become fluent in French without actually having to do any studying. Yeah. Maybe I'll do that. Oh, let's see. How else can I avoid doing some sort of work? I just want the. Okay. What if instead of working out, count you exactly? What if instead of working out, I just get this machine and it shocks my stomach, and then I can just sit here and I won't have to do any work, and I'll just get the results without doing any work. How else can I get results in life without doing any work? Like, you can't. You can't. Sorry, you can't. Don't hate me, but you can't. All right. You got to do work. Who is it we're talking about? Them. Who is they? That's what they say. Look, I get it. I try. None of this is like a judgment call. The only place where like the real frustration and like any sort of finger pointing happens is when it comes to like schools and adults. That's the only time I feel like there's actually a time to be like, hey, hold on a second. But you don't have to do anything. Like, it's totally normal to not want to do work. Why do you think I'm not super strong? You think it's because I don't want to be? You think I want to be like that? No, it's because I don't want to do the work. Because I don't want to do the work. But I'm also not like, let's say I did want to like actually improve my physique. What I'm not going to do is have someone tell me exactly what I should do, someone who's an expert in this, and go like, yeah, but no, I'm not going to do that. Can you just give me some like quick, strong pill? Then that's on me. Put back your vibration belt. No, don't. This is the thing though. You want the like the sort of light at the end of this, the hope at the end of this, because there is actually hope at the end of this. Instead of saying what I have to do is learn this stuff, or what I have to do is lift these weights, or what I have to do is run, what should be hopefully reassuring is rephrasing it like this. Because this is the actual way it works. Is that all you have to do is run. All you have to do is lift these weights. All you have to do is practice this stuff. And you will learn it. It'll take time. It'll be hard to notice the differences, but you're almost not going to be able to learn. Okay, so diet, yeah, I mean diet, there's all sorts of stuff, and it's like you can't just lift weights. You have to do it in certain intervals. You have to be smart about it and stuff. But like what I mean is that there's no guessing to it. You're basically like assured. You can just guarantee that all you need to do is just consistently do this thing. And you can learn it. It will happen. You can't avoid it. It'll happen unless you're some like I don't know. You don't follow the laws of physics. You're just different from everyone else. You're the one being that doesn't that just the laws of physics don't apply to you. Please. It'll work. It'll work. I promise you it'll work. And in terms of music, let me at least have the silver lining that exists in my journey. What do I mean by that? I didn't have the fortune of being introduced to this stuff at an early age. So I didn't know, when I was 19, I still didn't know how to spell out a chord. If you said, how many sharps are in G major? I had no idea what that question even meant. At 19. Okay, so I wasn't a prodigy. I didn't grow up going like, oh, I just always knew this. I don't know. Let me be the example of how this stuff works. Let me be the example. Let's let that silver lining exist. You've been in music for 7+ years. Yeah. Also, I just unironically did the streamer voice thing. If a dummy like Snap, it's kind of, kind of. Look, I had been playing music my whole life, since like before I could remember. Let's say from the age of 5, I started taking piano lessons for the first time with my mom. But stopped that, didn't want to do it, did some other stuff. And I'd been playing for, you could say, 14 years, and I didn't know how to spell out a chord, because no one told me. And I was able to do some stuff by ear. But like, you think I'd be able to play the stuff I can play, and you think I'd have this understanding if I just kept on going that way? I promise you I wouldn't. I promise you. I promise you. The background did change. It changed. Everything's changing. So, new things are scary. This is scary. There's a lot of information here. I get it. There's a lot of information. Why is there an M here? Why is there a degree symbol? Degree should go with numbers. What the heck? Why are these Roman numerals? What's going on? There's another degree symbol. What does this thing mean? What is this? C:? What the heck? What are these dots even referring to? Why are there so many lines? Why are there so many lines? There's pointing all over the place. This is orange and this is disgusting green and blue. What the hell is going on? What is all this stuff? What is all this? You're gonna make me puke looking at this. This is bullshit. Look, I get it. I get it. I get it. This is horrifying. I understand. I understand. I understand. What would I say to maybe having guests on stream in the future? I think that'd be great. I've wanted to have people, like in terms of lessons and stuff like that, do it on stream. And in the past, we had done that, but most people are very scared, understandably so. They're very hesitant when it comes to like, hey, you want to be in a vulnerable spot in front of a bunch of strangers? No? Why not? That doesn't sound like a good time to you? I get it. Yeah, this is meant to be like this. I just have dark mode on everything. It's meant to be like this. It's meant to look like this. It's still kind of a nasty yellow. Okay, there we go. Okay. Also, this is just for me. If you click on this, it won't be like that unless you also have a Dark Reader extension. And well, it says I'm 27 and I need to put time into my schedule to practice guitar. I can learn a lot in 1 year with only 1 hour a day. That is true. You can learn a lot. And from like, imagine if you start at 30. Okay. By the time you're 40, again, what I'm about to say is just like, yeah, you will have been playing for 10 years. Like, that's a long time. It is not too late to start. And trust me, I hate what sounds like I hate motivational stuff. You will have spent 25% of your life doing that stuff. Like, that's a lot of time. Yeah, I hate like anyone can do it, or like, but sometimes those things are true. And when I say this, trust me, I'm not just being like, you can just do it and everything's great. And I hate false motivational stuff. I am not a fan. You know who likes that stuff? Richard Sage. And I totally dig it. It works for him. It's just so funny because I'm just like not that way. But to each their own. If it works, it works. But for me, I've always been the opposite, where I just want people to tell me the way it is. Like, this stuff is tough. It's difficult. You're maybe like you're behind what a lot of people have done, but you can do it. Like, there's no reason you can't do it. Not because it's a fun thing to say and it's a positive thing, but just because it's like, do you think about it? Just think about it. You can do this. You can do this. It's difficult. You have to make time for it. It's difficult to find motivation. You're going to have to like dig deep to find the motivation sometimes. Just like when it comes to learning a language, you're not going to be able to learn a language, most likely. You're not going to be able to learn French because you want to be sophisticated and bilingual. Like, that will probably not get you through the inevitable bullshit that you're going to face. So same thing for music. If you want to learn guitar or something so that you can be cool, good luck. There's got to be someone you're really into. You're got to be really into them if you want them to be your motivation. They got to be really special. It's possible. For you at least? No, that's for everyone. You're not alone there. Yeah, so it definitely works. So like, oh, you want to learn Armenian? You want to learn you need to get a good Armenian girlfriend. Then you will learn Armenian. If you get the girlfriend, you will learn Armenian. It's like, okay. Okay. And they're right. They're right. Because that is a special, man, that's serious motivation. To be able to connect on like a much deeper level with a person who you could say you care about more than anybody else in the world. Achieving some mild results in piano. They feel big, and the quality of practice isn't good either. Sometimes regularity, persistence feels almost more important than intensity. That is definitely true. Regularity is super important. So when you do something regularly, the time, if you do like an hour, this is like 3 different days. Let's do like this. Hour on 4 different days. If you were to do, then on the 5th day you do another hour, the time, I promise you, the time, when you go from this hour to this one, it kind of feels like you were just here. And then when you do this one, it kind of feels like you were just here and also just here. It feels like a continuation of the same thing. And if you're here, it also feels like you were just here and just here and just here. It all feels like a continuation. But if you do 4 hours here and then an hour here, everything feels like forever ago. Think about if you've ever watched a show regularly. A show that's like part of a series. As long as you do it regularly, you'll be able to keep up with the show and it'll make sense. Maybe it's just once a week for an hour or once a week for an hour. You remember what happened that last week, and the whole season feels like one continuous thing, including going back to like the first episode. But if you were to watch like a bunch of episodes when the first, the day, let's say you actually just have access to it now. You're not watching it as they're being released, but you start one day and you watch half the season, and then you go the amount of time that half the season would have played out as, and then you watch it again, you're like, what happened? What was going on in the show again? It happens to me with video games too. Oh my god, try starting an RPG after you've just like stopped for a while. Like, what is this game about? How do I play it? What am I supposed to do? What was going on in the story? Why am I even here? Where am I supposed to go next? Who did I just fight? What are the mechanics again? Why you have 20 level 15 characters? Yeah, video games are great for this. And we're on Twitch, so a lot of people should be able to connect with that. Don't mind that. So try to find some music that you'd like to play. Especially if it's difficult, because it'll give you something to reach for. And it's good to have target pieces for like at different difficulty levels, so you're not just always going like, oh my god, I can't play this, I can't play this. Try to find some sort of music that you like listening to that's inspirational, or an artist of some sort that you like. Like for me, there's a reason these things are up on this shelf. That's maybe a way to look at this. It's like I can always sort of count on that statue. I can always count on Bach to like, if I listen to his music, it'll just push me to want to play and learn more. Those videos, watching those skate videos, it was really as passionate as I was, it was always much more difficult to get into like the flow like on each day of like skating if I hadn't watched one of the videos before. But like having those videos there and like playing one, you get the itch that you need to scratch. But it's not just gonna, it's not gonna magically just appear. Motivation is not gonna like magically appear. You need to kind of like put in work to even be motivated. So if you can find someone, again, I show a lot of it on stream a lot. There's a reason I show, well, there are multiple reasons, but one of the reasons you could say I show Elliot on stream is for some reason, physically watching him play and listening to it, it makes me want to play the guitar. It just does. That's just... Hello, Fair. How are you doing? Is Elliot? No, Elliot Fisk is he's well, how do you describe him? He's one of the like he's at like the one of the people at like the top of the classical guitar world. He was sort of Segovia sort of entrusted his music and stuff to Elliot. He is a character for sure, both in terms of playing and in person. He is someone who does not follow the rules. Does not follow the rules. You've been better. I gotcha. I feel it. But he's someone where if I listen to him and he's not like the other girl. He's not. He's not. Apparently he really likes pizza. So it's difficult, even if you can find the motivation. Sometimes you have to find the motivation to get motivated. Because I said, like, you know, watch a video. But sometimes you even gotta, like, you need to be motivated to even get yourself to watch the video to get you motivated. So I get it. I get it. I have so many problems with discipline and motivation, which is why which is why you should trust me. Which is why you should trust me. This is like a drug addict telling you not to do the drugs they do. You could be like, you're a hypocrite. It's like, no, I'm an expert. I'm an expert. I know firsthand. It's like, Jesus Christ. It's like, don't do this. Don't do this. ADHD. Yeah, for sure. Which, the thing is, like, yeah, I have been diagnosed with ADHD, but what is that? I mean, like, there's not really much you can do about it. Because what you can also do is, like, maybe you can get medication to help. But the medication can help you focus, but it doesn't tell you what to focus on, is the issue. It's not like programmed into like, I want to play guitar. Oh. What's this thing over there? Distracted, hyper-focused on the wrong thing. Boy, am I focused on the wrong thing. Like, whoops. So there's no, look, if this stuff was easy, then none of us would be talking about it. And it just, boom, just be easy. Oh. Should I play some music? Unless people had more music questions, I'm more than happy to discuss whatever. Renaissance? Debates with my old teacher. I mean, I am not afraid. At this point, I am not afraid at all I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. And that's only because of time spent doing something. This is what I said about like the auditions and stuff too. It's like, you don't like scare me anymore. I've done enough, not to the point where I don't need to learn anything, but it's like, I've done enough where there are things that like, there are things I know now. I'm not a little kid anymore. So there's always more to learn, but it's like as you go, there's things that start to become solidified that you do, and like there's this unknown stuff and things you aren't sure of, but as you go, you leave this trail of like, okay, nah, I feel pretty solid about that. And in order for, and the more solid it is, the more energy is going to have to be put into it, the more evidence or the more experiences you're going to have to break that up and have it not be the case. Have ever wanted to try a wind instrument? Well, I almost can't answer that question because I played clarinet from the age of 7 to 21. I played it all through school and through college too. I actually love the bassoon. I've never played one before, but yeah. Anything is difficult if you want to do it at the highest level. Then you have to look at, it's like, okay, well, that's not the answer you're looking for. Another answer you're not looking for, that's also true, is that each instrument and each thing in life, activity, whatever, is going to pose different problems. Some things are going to be easier on it and some things are going to be more difficult. Things like the guitar, like this, or the oboe, or the violin, or the French horn, for example, are going to be more difficult to produce a sound that's not bad right away. It's going to be more difficult than on the piano. The sound can only be so bad. Okay, so there certain aspects of certain instruments are going to be harder than others, and some are going to be easier. Although all that being said, I'm still not sure. When I think of difficult instruments, honestly, the clarinet doesn't come to mind. Hello, cheap Asian. How's it going? There might be more moving sounds. They're doing the sheetrock and stuff for the walls the next couple days, so it's gonna be extra crazy. Did the fridge explode? No, this is still from just the fridge from before. NH Mountains. Maybe New Hampshire Mountains? What's up? Welcome in. Oh yeah, we got quite a few raids today. It's funny, I always sneeze in pairs. Does anybody have a sneezing pattern like that? I always double sneeze. I was just making that up, but let me play something that's not made up. Well, I guess everything's made up by someone, but you know what I mean. I made this up, actually. Shoots up on... I rarely sneeze on stream. After all these years, the sneeze counter would probably be at like 5. Probably sneeze on stream once a year. The unexplained... Oh no, I think those are vampire bites. That's from memory. I'm not reading that. Yeah. I actually had to run for just a minute, but I will be back and I'll play more music. Or if people have more music questions, I'm more than happy to help out with whatever questions anyone has, to the best of my ability. And very soon, the lessons will be easier to sign up for. I think, guys, I have basically everything outside of the background images / color stuff for the website done. I'm trying to, I don't want it to be too much. I don't want to have like a picture of me on every single one in some as like the entire background thing and have it be, I feel like it might be too intense. But I'm not the best with designing stuff, so I don't want it to be bland and lame, but I also don't want it to be like, ugh. No turtlenecks, no brown turtlenecks, but and I think I have the lesson thing set up. I'm gonna have my brother test it out, having him sign up. You should be able to not even have to talk to me. you should be able to go there, click on the lessons tab, click on the lesson thing, pick the exact date and time from a calendar, fill out some boxes in terms of like some prompts in terms of like what you want to learn and experiences and stuff like that, pay for it, you get all the notification stuff. I should get a notification for without, you don't even have to, like, no questions really. So I'm hoping that helps streamline things, because I know it can be maybe a little intimidating to be like, to have to ask the questions and actually go back and forth talking about it, as opposed to streamlining the process. So do wacky poses. I have some pictures with some wacky poses, but like, cause like Claire took a bunch of really nice photos, but just cause the photos are there doesn't mean you need to use them. Doesn't mean you need to use them. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. Here's like, okay, a little detour. What if we do this? We'll use, I think this person, Evan, is a good example. Because you can have backgrounds. Claire picks, yep. You can have backgrounds like this. Okay, he has himself playing. When you first do it, it actually starts like this. Just an image. All right, okay. So his scrolls along with it, but if you do this, it's like, do you want all the backgrounds to be like that? Or some of them... See, here it's like there's a picture, but it's just on the side, and the background is here. And, you know, there's a header thing there. We go to contact. But now if we go to contact, it's back to, you know, an image taking up the whole thing. So these background images, I have all the layout and stuff done. It's just like, what should these background images be? There's a lot of just little details. It's like, do you want this stuff on all the pages? Stay up to date. What do you call these things? But she does photography. Yeah, her main thing is photographing humans. Yeah, that's actually her main thing. So I don't want it to be cheesy or tacky. Maybe those are the words. Probably not the best words to describe it, but yeah. So that's the only thing. That's the only thing left, really. So as long as the lesson thing, once I test it out with my bro, if that works, then it's like it'll basically be ready to go. But I've never designed a website before, so I have no idea how this. And then when that's ready, I think I'm just gonna switch over everything to just my name. Everything will be Rafi. Jesus, dude. Oh my god. I've never done that before. Out of all the years of streaming, that's the first time I've ever done that, which I think is actually kind of impressive. At least the notes I hit were like good. It was like... She went live right when the oh, now everyone's gonna leave. Whatever, if people leave, so be it. So be it, Skywalker. Your friends will die. Yeah, you get free music knowledge. Also, you will become smarter, funnier, and more attractive just by watching the stream. So, the choice is yours. Okay, what was I doing last time? C sharp. C sharp diminished. Actually, yeah, I went like... I don't want to cut those notes off like this. what's up? TM. Hey, how's it going? And Seba Jazz. Thanks for the follow. Welcome in. Do I primarily play single note runs with I and M? Yeah, that is the default for me and for most people. Some people actually default to I and A. But like here, oops. Here I play this one note open with my A finger. And then this with my A finger too. And I start with my M finger so that the heavy notes are played with my I finger. Dun, dun, dun. I, dun, 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 I, dun, 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 dun. But if I'm doing something like this, if there's other stuff going on, then I'm actually I use this finger quite a bit. So when this happens here, and this is something that's a little tricky because this has always been something that has sort of come naturally for me. If you've noticed, guys, I've always basically just complained about this hand and stuff, aside from this stupid sensitivity thing, but that's a little different. It's always been issues with the left hand. I've always just been focused on this thing here, and this has kind of just done its thing, which is nice. So when it comes to the fact that this is a group of 3 notes, and which fingers are going to feel natural to play, it's sort of like grouping notes together with groups of these fingers, how that naturally fits. It's sort of like if it's even, it tends to be nice to go back and forth with 2 fingers. Or if it's going to be odd, especially a group of 3 notes, it can be nice to do this. This is a really extreme example of there's no context to it. As opposed to going. And things to avoid string crossing. So if you can play one of these strings, the higher strings, with one of these fingers, that can be nice. So that's just sort of the general approach. But Renaissance. Dowland. We're in D, so why not?